Apparently live.
Alright, we're here.
Hi.
This is Film Banter.
This is Melancholy Banter.
Yeah, Melancholy Banter.
Welcome aboard, folks. Episode 69 of Yes, Film Banter. We are back. For
Is it 69?
another episode. Yes, my friend, we're one away from 70.
Oh, man.
69.
That's horrifying.
I think it's pretty cool.
Okay.
Why is it horrifying?
No, it's not horrifying. It's just, we've been doing this so long and
I know.
getting older by the minute here.
You're aging before my eyes.
I am. Before mine, too.
Yes.
Oh.
Although your hair looks outrageously long tonight.
Yeah, I need it to be cut. I need it cut soon.
And the bullshit continues.
Yeah, I'm going to get a haircut too.
You need one.
I do. It gets long. It gets out of hand for me in the front, and then it gets annoying.
Well, tell everybody about your new Coke. I noticed you haven't opened it yet.
I was going to try it on the air.
Oh, good.
So you provided me with this zesty blood orange Diet Coke, which I've never heard of.
That's correct.
I like the
Yes.
sexy thin can.
They came out with a new
Let's try
5
it.
new flavors.
Okay.
What are they?
It's diet.
Mango is a kind of a lemon thing.
I like mango.
Oh, good. For
You said mango, right?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Mango is pretty good in drinks.
Yeah.
Anyway, let me try this one. So this is zesty blood orange.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a strong aroma.
It does. So you like it?
Hang on. It's not bad.
Oh, brother.
It's not bad. It has a
It's not bad. Do you like it?
No, I like it. I don't love it, but I like it. It has almost a well, it has that very artificial diet flavor that most diet soda has, but it's really not that bad.
Okay. All right. Good enough. Well, all right, everybody. We're
So, yeah.
here.
We
We're
will
here
begin
and-
our show.
Yeah. What'd you do with this?
I think you turned it off, like I said before.
Oh, I did.
You did.
Oh, fuck it then. We'll leave it off.
It's up to you.
Okay.
But welcome, folks. We're happy to be here to do another episode for you.
Yeah. Speak for yourself.
My co-host is a little under the weather, but
I'm under this roof.
Yes.
Therefore, I'm under the weather. That's
yes,
true.
you are. But I'm glad you could make it.
I'm glad to be here.
Yes,
It's
very happy
always
to
a
hear it.
thrill.
Yeah.
This may be our last show, everyone.
He's
Just
being
wanna
very,
let you know.
he's being very grim here. I
I
think
have
he'll
a
be.
feeling this might be it.
I think
So
you'll be around
I
for
wanna
quite a
wish you
while.
all the very best, and thanks
Oh.
for hanging in there with
If
us.
by some awful chance this is, it's been a pleasure.
Has been a pleasure.
Yeah,
really has.
I
I've
don't think
enjoyed
that's the
it.
case. I think you're being a little too dramatic. I think
think
you'll make
this-
it through
I
it.
think this could be it.
Oh, I've heard this before.
But anyway, it's the way it is, and life goes on, and within
as
us...
Zeppelin says, that's just the way it's gotta be.
What song is that?
It's called "That's the Way." I think it's called "That's the Way."
Oh.
That's the way it's gotta be. It's a good
Okay.
song, actually. You don't know
Yeah,
that, so I'm
boy.
surprised.
Boy, we're really boring, aren't we?
You're the music
This
guy.
is really a boring show so far.
According to you.
Okay, so let's start the deal.
Why don't you start? I reviewed Phantom Thread last week. I know you just went and saw it.
I did
so
just go see
give me
Phantom
your
Thread.
thoughts.
I did see this film. This is the new film with... who's the young lady in this movie? You mentioned her by
Yes,
name last
okay.
week.
Her name is, I believe, Vicky Creeps.
Okay.
Krieps.
Okay.
Yes.
She was very good. I
Yeah.
like this film. The collateral damage on this film is quite intense for me.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting there watching this film, I couldn't wait for it to be over.
Mm-hmm.
It was so boring, and it wasn't boring. It just moves at such a snail's pace.
It was a slow film.
It's a very
Yeah.
slow film, and because Daniel Day-Lewis is such a prick in this movie,
He kind of is, right?
gives you
yeah.
oh completely.
Yeah,
It gives you an underlying feeling of angst the entire time you're watching it, and a really uncomfortable feeling.
Yeah.
So therefore, it works against itself in a way to be a comfortable fun. It's not a fun experience by any means.
Mm-hmm.
It's a love story and a very strange and as
very strange.
as we get to the end, we realize how fucking sick it truly
Yeah.
is. It's really a strange film, and I don't know if I can. I mean, I do recommend it because Daniel Day-Lewis only does one film every 4 or 5 years. So
Yeah, and now they're saying this is his last film. That's what
we're
he
saying
says.
this is his last film.
We've
so,
heard that song before. We'll see if he
Yeah,
comes
this
back.
could be our last show, and you've heard that song before, but
Yeah.
I don't think you ever have. But this could be it.
Okay.
But anyway, so Daniel Day, yeah, he's good at this movie, but man, I did not love this film. I did not. It's just a little too slow moving.
The whole movie is this woman trying to get some kind of an emotional connection with this man. She's trying to get close to him, and he keeps every woman he's ever dated kind of at arm's length, and everything is about the work, designing these clothes.
Well, the reason-
and his sister comes first
Yes.
and everything, you know?
Right.
So it's tough. It's awkward for anybody that's ever been in a relationship, and let's say you want the relationship to progress, or the other person does, and there's just this distance that's there. I feel like that's what this whole movie is
And the bullshit continues.
Right.
pretty much. And this person is trying to get closer to him. But
Well,
it's,
he picked her out because she was a perfect size for him to
Well,
try
yes.
his clothes on.
I know.
He is a seamstress, if you will, or a
seamster,
seamster.
yeah.
And, that's what he does. So he's creating very fancy dresses for the elite of this. Where is he? Where's
I
this?
think it's
located?
London. I'm pretty
Is
sure it's
it
London in the
London,
50s. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
there you go. But it's, I don't know if I really love the film by any means. Do I recommend it? I really don't recommend it to all of our people who
It's
watch
not for
our show.
everybody.
No, it's not for everybody, and you probably heard from very many people that it's not very good. I've heard from many people that did not like the film.
Okay.
When I say many, I mean 2.
Yeah.
So, but it's interesting. It's
Yeah.
beautifully
It's
made.
a unique
It's
movie, yeah.
beautifully made,
Yeah.
and the acting is extraordinary, and it's just hard to get through. It's hard to get through, and as I say, I didn't love the essence of the film, but while you're watching it, it's hard to watch. But after it's over, it's like giving birth. It's hard to give birth, but when it's over, you have that kid there.
Yes.
To love or hate. And this movie, when it was over, I think I liked it more when it was over than while I was watching it.
Okay. I mean, I think I enjoyed the process of seeing this movie more than you did. I was really into it. Yes,
okay.
it was a little slow, but
Yeah.
I liked it overall. I thought I
right.
generally like Paul Thomas Anderson's films.
Yeah, he's
however, his movies tend to be slow. I think I mentioned last week, The Master, which he did with Joaquin Phoenix and Philip Seymour Hoffman, was probably the slowest movie I've seen since Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, Clint Eastwood's film from like '97.
Oh, okay.
That was a tough
Well,
movie
he
to
did
sit
Punch Drunk Love, too.
Paul Thomas Anderson, yes, he did, but that wasn't. I didn't find it to be a
it wasn't that
slow
boring.
movie.
Yeah, that
No,
was,
but I didn't love that film. That's not my favorite
Yeah, I
film.
didn't love it
To
either.
me, my favorite film of his is still his big breakout, Boogie Nights. That's still an exciting
Yeah,
movie.
it's a great movie.
It's an interesting film. That's still
I
definitely
did
my
like
favorite.
the Moonlight, the camp movie he made with Bill Murray and the gang. Wasn't that him?
Moonlight Kingdom? No. That was Wes Anderson.
Oh, that's where. Yeah, I
Wes
do
Anderson.
confuse them.
Yeah,
Well,
Wes
they're both
Anderson has a very
Andersons, yeah.
unique visual style too. I love Wes
Yeah.
Anderson's films.
Yeah.
He's got the new animated one coming out, Isle of Dogs, which
Oh, right.
looks kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But overall, so mild recommendation from you for Phantom
All
Thread.
right, we better hurry up
I
here.
would
'cause,
recommend it to
We're running out of
diehard
time.
fans. All right, well, I'm going to review a film that you touched on a few weeks back. It's up for a lot of awards at the Oscars this
Yeah.
year: Best Actor, Best Picture. Call Me by Your Name.
Call me by your
Call
name.
Me by Your Name. Elio Oliver, as you told me to look out for. So yeah, this is a love story. Takes place, I believe, in '83 in the beautiful rural areas of Italy.
Right.
Gorgeous film. I mean, I was watching this movie, and I just wanted to go there. I wanted to spend a summer at that house and have these long 3-hour lunches.
And have young gay men.
Well, I don't want to do that.
Fall in love with.
But
you
I
when
wouldn't
they-
mind swimming in the lake, and that was kind of nice. And
Okay.
it was a beautiful film to look at.
It was.
The story, it's just about these two guys that end up falling in love. One is a man in his late 20s who's going to almost intern with this very renowned professor of, I guess, archaeology.
Played
by the wonderful Michael Stolbarg, who seems to be in everything.
Correct.
And his son is a young boy named Elio, who's about, I think,
Elio.
17 in the film. Although the actor is 21.
Right.
Timothy Chalamet. The older,
Nominated for Best Actor.
Yeah, Best Actor.
Best Actor.
And the other main actor is the older guy, like I mentioned, that's Armie Hammer.
Armie Hammer.
And so they're both bisexual, basically, because they have women
Yeah.
in the film, but then they kind of fall for each other. It's almost like a slow cat and mouse in terms of the relationship developing, and then eventually it kind of happens. And overall, I enjoyed the film quite a bit. I thought that the acting was excellent. I mean, excellent on everybody's part.
Really?
I thought
Armie
everybody was
a
very
little
good.
bit- I thought Armie was kind of pulled
I
back.
thought he
but-
did a good job with the
but-
role
but-
he was
but
playing.
was good. You know who Robert Smith is?
Robert Smith?
Yeah.
You mean the guy from The Cure?
Yes.
Yes.
I look a little like him right
You're a little Robert Smith-esque.
now. Little Robert Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
except
didn't have a
has
mustache,
black-
but yes.
I should have the dripping eye.
You should. You have the
makeup,
tears? Yeah.
the tears.
I
there
thought
you
that
go.
they played their roles. I thought the main kid, definitely, I can understand why he's up for an Oscar. He was very good.
Well, I thought the last half of his
Excellent.
performance,
Yeah, I agree.
It got better.
It
and
really
better
came
and
to
better.
life.
It did.
And I know they filmed this movie in chronological order, which really helps the actors,
No, that's
which I thought
true.
was pretty cool.
I agree.
And I thought his parents, one of them obviously was Michael Stolberg, like I said, they were excellent. I found Michael Stolberg playing his father, and I believe...
You said it so fast.
I know.
didn't know who you meant.
the mother was very good too. I'm forgetting her name. She's beautiful.
Played by them.
Yeah. And I felt that his parents, though, as characters, were probably two of the most understanding parents I've ever seen in my life.
Very sexually open.
Yeah,
and,
very idealistic in terms of if you're a kid going through something like this is what you would want for your parents in terms of the reaction to
No,
your
they were-
choices. It was great.
They were very blessing. And
Very,
they were,
very. I thought that was interesting.
It was.
However, it's not a critique, but I didn't, and I don't, this has nothing to do with the acting. I thought the actors did a great job. As just looking at a story, as where these characters intersect and how they relate.
literally intersect.
Yes, but I just, for me, I didn't really buy that these two men were going to fall in love the way they did. I just didn't feel that relationship felt like a real relationship to me. I don't know why. It has nothing to do with the performances. I just felt that there's something about it. It just didn't feel real to me.
Okay.
I don't know why.
I see
Maybe
what you
it's
mean
because the
anyway.
young boy's French girlfriend was so beautiful that I find it hard for somebody to walk away from that in favor of a tall, handsome blonde man. But that's just them, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just something about the relationship that didn't strike me as real. But for what the film was, I really enjoyed it. I was really into it, and
Yeah, okay.
I found myself
But
thinking
the
about
crux
the
of
film.
The film is that
It
relationship.
is, yeah.
So if you didn't buy it, then you're not really buying the film. To some
but that's the
extent.
thing is I still enjoyed the film. I bought the performances, but there's just something about. I know it sounds like a paradox, but there's just something about that relationship that I just wasn't buying. I don't know
Okay,
why.
okay.
But
Did you find that the film was too long?
I wasn't bored. I mean, yes, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, it really was.
It was a
too
little long, but I didn't find myself squirming watching it. I
Oh,
was
really?
sitting in my seat.
Oh.
I was entertained, and I found myself going back to this movie days later with a positive sentiment. So I would recommend it. Is it my favorite film of the year? Is it a film that I would give an Oscar to? No, but I thought it was very well done. I enjoyed it, and it was a very human film. But that's about, I
I
think,
heard
all
that
I'm
after
going to
this
say
film was
about it.
over, that you went out into the streets with like a bullseye painted on the back of your pants. Now,
I did, yeah.
is that
well,
true? Or?
Well, you know, sometimes you got to deal with things in a different way, but I'm fine.
Bullshit continues.
But
Yeah.
you know what I was surprised to hear is that the director is planning a series of sequels to this.
Oh, no.
About these men meeting up later on in life.
Oh God.
Because apparently the
Oh,
book
horrible.
touches on that.
Oh.
In the book, there's some of that.
Okay.
And you know what was interesting that I didn't realize? This film was written by James Ivory of Merchant Ivory
Wow.
fame. Yeah, he wrote this screenplay.
Oh.
Anyway, why don't we move on? I know you got a chance to see a film that I'm really excited to see. Is the Roman J. Esquire, Roman
So
J.
you
Israel
did, you did like
Esquire.
Call Me by Your Name.
No, I enjoyed it. I liked it.
definitely
Yeah.
recommend
No,
it.
I definitely recommend it. It's a good film.
I thought that the kid was towards the end
Spectacular.
of the film. He really
did.
I don't know if it was an Oscar-worthy performance, but it almost was.
worthy of a nomination. I
You
would
know,
say.
there's so many performances out there.
I know.
It kind of amazes me how the Academy of Awards people will zoom in on one particular
I know it's interesting.
performance, and you know, there's some good stuff out there. So it's always interesting.
I agree.
To me.
But yeah, Roman J. Israel Esquire,
Roman
Denzel.
J. Israel. Well, I'm not a big Denzel Washington fan
Lately,
in person.
I know you are. Yeah.
I do love the man as an actor.
Yes.
I loved Eli's Coming.
You mean Book of Eli.
Eli's Coming, want a heart girl. Eli's Coming. It's an old Three Dog Night song.
Yes.
And I pretty much loved every performance he's given. I did not love the film Fences, as you know.
I know.
I'm still
I thought
on
that
the-
was a great
I'm still on
performance.
the fences about
Yes,
that.
you are.
But this film, I did not really wish to see, and yet it blew me away.
I can't wait to see
I
it.
was
So
very,
excited to
very
go see this one.
impressed with this movie.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you.
Cool.
However, you know, I thought that they were going to kind of the character that he creates. He creates kind of like an Urkel, kind of a nerd, kind of a guy. He wears these big baggy suits.
Yeah,
He's got
yeah,
this
yeah.
big
Puffy
afro.
hair, yeah.
He wears this. He carries this big giant briefcase with him everywhere he goes. He just looks like a nightmare coming at you.
Yeah.
Just a kind of almost like a homeless guy who just bought all his stuff at Walmart and he's just kind of but he's at the same time and not an idiot, but
No.
he's a brilliant
Lawyer.
not a brilliant lawyer, but he's a brilliant strategist.
Okay.
He's we don't really see him in court so
Too
much.
much.
But we hear his ramblings about the court system. He
Yes.
knows all the files of the amendments
Yeah.
within these court books by heart. They just name,
That's cool.
this particular case, and he'll go, oh, that's 141B. And there's a very intricate intelligence about him as a character and how he interacts. Colin Farrell is in this movie.
Yes.
And he is terrific.
Cool.
Once again, I'm seeing Colin in quite a few films.
I
this
feel like
year.
we're in the Colin Farrell
We
renaissance
are.
right
Well,
now.
He's
matured as an actor.
He really has, and he's at the point where he can play anything.
Yeah.
You just saw him in The Beguiled recently, and
did.
I saw him in something else too. I
Yeah,
saw
no,
him in
we
that-
just saw him in,
He was in that movie with
The
Jessica
Killing of a
Chastain.
Sacred Deer.
Well, Killing of a Sacred Deer, and that movie with Jessica Chastain where he's chasing her around the table. And did you see that one?
Oh yeah, I watched that one. I didn't
did?
love that film.
Yeah, I didn't love it either.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
It'll come to me.
There you go. And I believe the woman who played the artificial intelligence in the Steven Spielberg film, she was in that film.
Oh, you're talking. Oh, yes, she was.
She was in
She
that.
was like the housekeeper.
Yeah, she was the housekeeper.
Yeah, that was
kind of
Samantha
frumpy.
Morton.
Samantha Morton,
Yes,
very good.
yes.
But I really did like this film a lot. Unfortunately, I felt that the plot was. It kind of takes a very strange arc.
Okay.
About 3/4 of the way through, which I thought was detrimental to
To
the
the
film
film.
as a whole.
Okay.
It didn't really work for itself so much. But Denzel is terrific throughout.
Cool.
I gotta say. As much as he's always scoffing at the younger actors who are taking all the Academy, the awards, the Golden Globes, etc. home. Last year he was infuriated when Casey Affleck won for Manchester.
I mean, he already does have 2 Oscars, though. You know.
Yeah, he does, and but he wants more.
I know.
And he wants the attention.
Yeah.
He wants to be noted that he's putting out great performances, and he
Yeah.
is. He only does one a year,
great
but
actor.
but it's a good one. And
He's got the sequel to The Equalizer coming out. I'm looking forward
well,
to that.
I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
I love that film. That's
Me too. That was a good
that's
film.
Kind of a pre-John Wick kind
Kinda
of
was,
thing in a way.
yeah.
But
In this
is
film, before I forget, Roman Israel was directed by, I believe his name is Dan Gilroy, the guy that did Nightcrawler, who's married to Rene Russo in real life.
oh wow.
And I believe his brother is Tony
Good for
Gilroy,
him.
the guy that did Michael Clayton. I believe it's Dan Gilroy.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I mean, I love Nightcrawler, so I think
No,
I
that's a
think
great
the guy's
film.
got
The
talent.
Jake Gyllenhaal film.
Yeah, and he's written other things too. But I'm
Okay.
definitely psyched
No,
to
you
go
need to see
this.
Roman.
I'm
It's,
going to. I
it's
know it's
really,
playing in one theater by me.
It's a unique little film. I was very impressed.
I'm excited.
Literally within the first 15 minutes, I was hooked.
Cool.
I was hooked by his character
Yeah.
because he is so frumpy and so
Yeah.
abstractly unique, and for that alone, it's really worth seeing.
Oh,
And,
good. I can't wait.
I
Because I
gotta
love
say,
Denzel.
yeah.
I love movies about lawyers. I love
This is a guy who is
up my alley 100%.
Yeah,
This
no,
movie.
no.
Looks great.
I mean, well, Call Me by Your Name, I think, was more up your alley. I think your alley was.
You know what movie of Denzel's I'm a huge fan of that nobody ever talks about?
What?
John Q.
Really?
You ever see that one?
I did see.
I love that film.
That wasn't bad.
Where he holds up the hospital
Yeah,
to get his
yeah.
son a heart transplant.
Yeah, right.
I love that
no,
movie.
that was okay.
I saw that as a triple feature. I saw that the same day I saw Monsters Ball.
Oh wow.
And what the hell was the other movie? It was the Palisades Mall.
What's the movie he did with John Lithgow?
You talking about? Oh, you talking about Ricochet?
Yeah.
You know, I never saw that one.
Oh, that's.
I want to
that's-
see that.
that's
He's a
good
cop.
film. Yeah, he's a cop, and John Lithgow's a
he's the
killer.
guy that gets out of jail.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I want to see that.
I
one.
like that
Yeah, I
film.
have that one at home on VHS.
You should watch it.
I want
If
to,
you
yeah.
have a film, it's probably a good idea to
I
watch
know.
it.
Well,
eventually.
you and I are collectors, so we might collect things that we've never seen.
Oh.
I have so many VHS in my storage unit that I haven't watched because I was just like obsessively buying
I've got
them.
1,000 more downstairs.
I know you do. You probably haven't seen them all either.
No, I actually have seen most of those.
Yeah.
But anyway, regardless.
Shall we move
I
on?
definitely did like Roman J. Israel, Esquire.
Cool.
It's very bizarre, but I did. It's
looking
it's a
forward
cool
to
little
it.
film. It's very very bizarre and very unique. Can they hear us this week?
Yeah, they're good.
We're not blinking, I see.
No, we're good to go.
Yeah, our
Yeah.
pathetic union of followers is here with us today.
Yes.
So, all right.
So, want to move on?
why
I'm
not,
going to do a film.
do a film that's just completely unknown to everyone.
Yes. Well, you've touched on this film on this show before, too.
I do like to touch upon
Yes.
things.
You mentioned it, and that got me interested in seeing it, and I finally did. Complete Unknown is a film. You can watch it. It's on Amazon. It stars the wonderful Michael Shannon and the wonderful Rachel Weisz. It's a very unique little movie. It's definitely a little movie because it's very self-contained and a pretty simple story, just about a couple people that meet by chance. One of them is not necessarily who they seem to be.
Well, Rachel Weisz is
Yes,
not who she seems
plays
to
a woman who has kind of walked away from her life, who she is.
More than once.
More than once, to just live a whole new life, a totally different person, in a totally different profession, new name, everything.
Adopts various
different
identities and
she'll
various
go to
professions.
So she's a nurse in one place, then she's a scientist over in Tasmania,
Right.
then she's in China for a year being a magician's assistant, and then she's this, she's that. So now we pick up with her. She's a new woman in Long Island or wherever she is, and she's a scientist studying frogs.
Be a great double feature with the Steven Spielberg, Leonardo DiCaprio film.
Catch Me If You Can.
Kind
of,
because they're both kind of in the same
a little bit,
league of shape-shifting.
Exactly. And in this film, Michael Shannon, he's a guy who has a very, very, very boring job, who is kind of a middleman who helps to craft government legislation and hopes to, make progress with a bill. And very bored by his life.'s got a partner who they're both kind of not really happy about what they're doing, but they're trying to make progress. His life is very uninteresting. He's got a beautiful wife who's an artist. And so there's a whole, I want to say, first 15 to 20 minutes of the film takes place at this birthday party at their apartment. All these different people are coming to celebrate his birthday, Michael Shannon's birthday, and his partner brings Rachel Weisz, who he happened to meet by chance at the cafeteria where they work.
They knew each other 15 years ago.
Yeah, well, her and Michael Shannon were young lovers, and then she walked away out of the blue. Everybody thought she was dead. And it's all about how he suddenly starts to realize, I know this woman. Right away, he knows her, even though she looks different.
Of course he knew her.
Yeah, no, but it's something that he knows right away.
He pulls her aside.
Targets it.
Yeah.
And then they have this conversation, and she leaves a kind of almost an embarrassment, and he follows after, and then the two of them kind of go on this trek through New York.
The second half of the movie
is just the two of them.
reconnecting, and then we hear her whole story.
And he's...
I really like this
film.
Me
too. I liked it a lot, too.
I really did. I thought
he's
it was
explaining the hurt, and how could you do this? What did you leave for?
Yeah.
Your family thought you were dead. Your father was crying on my doorstep, all this kind of stuff. And then they kind of go through all these little things. It's almost like they have
I think we lost somebody.
Did we?
Yeah, I think we did.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's almost like they have little vignettes. They have that great little vignette with Kathy Bates and Danny Glover. I thought
that
it
was
fun.
Yeah, that was good.
They run into Kathy Bates on the street. She's got a dog. She falls over. They help her into her apartment.
Right.
It's really cool.
It is cool.
Overall, I really enjoyed this film. I recommend people check it out.
It's
a nice little movie that's well acted.
Yeah.
It's a short hour
takes you
and
on a little
40
trip.
minutes.
Takes you on a nice little trip.
Yeah, it's a cute, not cute, but it's a very nice little movie. I enjoyed
cute
it.
in a way. There's not a real serious hard.
No, it's a little lighthearted in a way.
It is a little lighthearted. I like that.
Michael Shannon is another one of those actors that does so much acting just with his eyes.
Yeah.
He relays so much emotion and pain. Oh wow, you got a haircut. That was good.
I did.
Good for you.
Yeah, well.
I just love Shannon. He's great. I'm looking forward to him in. He's got the HBO film coming out soon, Fahrenheit 451.
Well, we just saw him in The Shape of Water.
Shape of Water.
He was
I agree. He's in that.
He's
in that.
He can play anything. He can play good, bad, ugly, whatever.
He's great, yeah. And he's in the Waco miniseries that looks pretty good right now. I think that's on A&E or USA or something.
I'm not sure.
Excuse me. But overall, I recommend Complete Unknown. Check it out on Amazon. Why don't we move on? You're going to do a film called All I See Is You.
All I See Is You. There's a brand new film. It stars. The what the hell is his name? The guy from Mudland. The main.
You mean Garrett Hedlund?
No.
The white guy from War?
Yes.
That's Garrett Hedlund.
No, the guy who is married to.
Jason Clarke.
Jason Clarke is his name. Yeah, and he's also in another film. No. He's coming out at. He's in that new film with. Helen Mirren, the horror film.
About the house, the Winchester house.
Correct.
That's Jason Clarke.
I just said he's in that film with Helen Mirren.
Yeah, and so you weren't disputing that it was Jason Clarke. You were just saying something else.
He's also in that with Helen
You're right.
Mirren.
I'm sorry. I thought you were saying that wasn't.
No. And he's.
Oh, this is Blake Lively in this film with him.
Yes.
Okay, great.
No, I told you that.
Oh, I missed you saying.
Well,
Blake Lively. I'm
Blake
sorry.
Lively is a blind woman.
Oh, great.
And this is kind of a there was a film previously very similar to this with Dan Stevens.
The Ticket.
And it was
correct?
called The Ticket.
Yeah.
Correct. and he's blind, and then he gets his sight back,
Yes.
and things change. And the same thing happens with her.
Yeah.
This is such a
We've seen this a couple times too.
correct.
Val Kilmer did a movie
Val
about
Kilmer,
this too with Amir Sorvino.
Right.
What
What's
the
the
hell
name
was
of
that?
that film?
Yeah,
It's
that
called,
was late '90s that came out.
I like that film.
Me
a
too. That
lot.
was pretty cool.
It was a good film.
I really liked that one.
I
Yeah.
did too.
It was one of the
good.
last movies that Val Kilmer was
called,
like the lead.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah.
Well, he was in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Well, that was almost a resurgence. That was more recent.
yeah,
but for
that
a while,
was
he disappeared.
Robert Downey. Correct.
Yeah, that was a great film.
Now
Shane
you
Black.
see him on the cover. He's on. In fact, this week he's on the cover of the Inquirer that he's dying. He's
They keep
taking
saying that throat
his
cancer or
last
something.
breath, and
yeah.
you know they keep saying that about Cher.
I know they say that about it.
and,
you know, my friend's mother apparently is a huge fan of the Inquirer, and
Really?
Yeah, don't ask why.
I'm sorry.
But my friend was saying that the one thing, according to the Inquirer, he goes, the one thing that they're generally on point with is when a celebrity is close to dying. Everything else they do generally, according to them, my
Well,
friend's
Burt Reynolds
mother.
dying about a year ago,
Yeah.
and he's still kicking. And no, I disagree with
Yeah.
you.
Well, I'm just going by
I
what
mean,
they told me.
You know, they try and go. Well, no. They claim that they're generally everything they say is true.
Yeah,
but
I know they do.
But lately they're very pro-Trump, and they're very
Are they really?
yes,
Why?
and they're anti-Obama and Hillary. And
At First Sight.
Yeah,
that was the movie with Val
there
Kilmer.
you go.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
to check that.
But this is a unique little film, and I'll tell you why. It's so beautifully shot.
Mm-hmm.
It's just unbelievable at times. There's such a surreal feeling to this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so well realized.
Who directed
and
it? Let's
so
see.
well done. It just kind of knocked me out visually. Just some of the synthesized. It almost has almost an electronic kind of a feel to it that some things just it's got a very visionary bit of a fantasy element to it at times, which is amazing. Never expected that from this film. This is a movie about a woman who is she's blind, and she was in a car accident, and she now has a chance to get the sight back in one of her eyes, and she takes that opportunity, and now she suddenly is looking at her husband in a different way, in a more negative way, and the film just kind of goes back and forth, and then he does something that's kind of despicable, and then she does something in return that's despicable
Like
to
spite.
him, and kind of a bit out of a spiteful thing that
Okay.
they both know that they've done to each other. For various reasons that we find out while the film is going on.
Yeah.
But I really did I love this movie? I did not love it. It's bleak. It's dreary. It's funny at times. I love Blake Lively. I just think she's not only is she a beautiful woman. By the way, I'm retiring one of my famous slogans. And of course, if this is our last show, I'm retiring. But no longer will anyone be sitting on my face.
Okay.
I'm destroying that comment forever.
Okay.
I'm not going to say that.
Well, that's very,
Even though I think Blake is a beautiful woman.
very
I'm
mature
sorry,
of you.
Blake. You're going to have to find a chair to sit on from now on.
She just got hurt on a movie and they postponed shooting for a while.
Oh yeah, I think I heard about
Yeah,
that.
it's an action movie. It's like it's gonna be like an action franchise with her now.
There's an awful lot of sex in this movie.
Oh.
I was very surprised. I mean, people are banging their brains out all
Wow.
over the place. Blake is. Where they go down to an island
Yeah.
to kind of get away. They live in Thailand.
Oh.
So it's kind of got a unique setting to
That's
it.
kinda
The
cool.
whole film is just so surreal.
Wow.
I truly liked it a lot. I really did. I thought it was just very, very cool.
Cool. I looked at his. It's a Mark Foster film. He's a pretty accomplished filmmaker.
Okay.
The Finding Neverland he did.
Oh, all right.
He did Stay, which is a movie I liked from many years
I
ago.
still haven't seen that film in its entirety.
Yeah, it's
The
pretty
film, I put it on a.
Ewan McGregor.
I made a
right?
Blu-ray. Yeah, you
Ewan
and
McGregor, yeah.
Ryan Gosling, I
Yeah.
believe. And 2004, I think.
It was early 2000. Yeah,
Yeah.
he did. He also did World War Z,
Oh.
which was kind of cool.
Okay.
he
that
did-
was written by Mel Brooks' son.
Max Brooks, the book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mel
it's a great
Brooks'
book.
Kid. Yeah.
Have you ever read it?
I have not.
Oh my God! Here's what you do: don't read the book, get the audiobook. It's got an amazing cast of
Really?
tons of people doing all the voices. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
but I didn't love the film. I doubt I'd want
No,
to go back.
no. Here's the thing: the film almost doesn't even touch on anything that's in the book.
Well,
It's completely different. The book is 1,000 times better.
Oh,
It's
1,000
awesome.
times?
1,000,000 times better.
1,000,000
Believe
times?
me, that movie does no justice to the book. It's almost a joke of what that movie is
But
when you
Brad
read the
Pitt
book.
was one of the producers.
He
of this
was,
film.
but that
I'm
film is
surprised.
completely different.
All
The
right.
book is a recounting of a guy who works for the United Nations doing basically an oral history of the zombie outbreak after it's happened and been contained.
Oh, I see.
He interviews all these people from across different walks of life. It's fascinating. The best sequence is he goes and interviews this
Well,
guy.
don't tell me. Don't tell me.
All I want to say is Henry Rollins does this part that is the best part of the whole damn
I do
book.
like Henry.
He is awesome in this.
Yeah, he is
It's
good.
great. Mark Hamill, Alan Alda, Rob Reiner.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Jesus.
It's so good.
All right.
I can't recommend that audiobook enough.
Well, I guess our show's over now.
It's done.
It's about that time.
Yeah. Oh, stop. Okay, so we're going to move on. Are you done with your review of this film?
Yeah, I guess I am. I like this film very much. Very unique. It's worth
Yeah.
seeing. Blake Lively is excellent.
It sounds
And,
good.
And Mark Foster, Lester, what's his name?
Mark
again?
Foster,
Mark Foster.
the
No,
filmmaker. Mark Foster,
No, no,
the filmmaker.
But the guy who stars...
Jason Clarke.
Jason Clarke.
Who's
there
in
you
everything.
go. He is in everything now.
He's another guy that
He's
they're
a
pushing on
funny-looking
us.
guy. It reminds me of Ben Foster in a strange way.
Really?
I don't know why. He's just got that big, wide face. You
He
can show
does
home
have
movies
extreme
on.
features, yeah.
Yeah, he does, but he's very good, and everybody
He's a
wants
good
to work
actor.
with him.
No,
He's
he's
an
good.
excellent actor. Excellent actor, I will
I
say.
don't mind his acting.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him do Shakespeare shortly. I
I'm
don't
sure
know
he's
why.
done it. He's
Yeah.
another Australian.
He
who's taken
probably
over.
has. Yeah. Is he Australian?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. All right, so we're going to move on.
So yeah, I'm
to
going to do a
our
movie that's on
final
Netflix
half hour.
called Rob the Mob.
Yes, it was recommended by our
Your
doctor
friend
from last
Ida,
week's show,
yes.
our friend Ida,
Our,
Ida Heyman. If you're out there watching, we'd
Thank
like to
you
give
for this recommendation.
Thank you for your service.
Yes,
in,
thank you for being
our
involved.
show last week. She was wonderful
She did.
as the
Good job.
doctor. I put the lobster tongs
That
around
was
her,
funny, yeah.
and she had the great idea to put shoelaces on the tongs.
That worked out great.
And that was her
It looked good. It was a pleasure
contribution.
having her here, and
It
she
really was.
recommended a film for us. And
Called Rob the Mob.
Rob the Mob. So this film it's a little older. It's from 2014.
Oh,
But I'm going to say this film is definitely worth seeing. It's on Netflix. I really enjoyed it.
Ida has seen it like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, it's a good film.
Yeah.
It's a solid little movie, and it's based on a true story, which is
Okay.
cool. It stars Michael Pitt, who's generally excellent in everything
Love
he
Michael
does.
Pitt.
It stars Ray Romano as well.
Picture is there, right?
It also stars who shows up? Oh, Michael Rispoli, who's a good character actor, and Burt Young shows up in this film.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and then and I don't remember her name, but Michael Pitt has a girlfriend in this film. They're the two central characters, and she's very good too. She's got a cool quality to her, very New York essence, and they really complement each other well. Here he is, Nina
North?
Nina Arianda.
Oh,
She's
okay.
very good.
Ariana
This
Grande-
film is also
Grande?
available on
Grande?
Amazon.
Okay.
So it's, like I said, it's a true story about.
But it's on Netflix. Why go to Amazon?
Because people might only have. Some people only have Amazon.
No, they
some
don't.
people. Yeah, they are.
Most people.
I know people that don't have Netflix.
Yeah, but you know all kinds of.
I do. I know a lot
street
of different
You know lots
people.
of street urchins out there.
Anyway, doesn't matter.
But
They
anyway.
can find it anywhere they want.
Okay, what's
Uh,
this movie about?
So I'm trying to get to the storyline.
I'm
It's
not
a-
stopping you.
Well, you did when you're criticizing my friends and not having
I
Netflix.
wasn't really.
So the story, like I said, it's a true story, takes place in the 90s. It takes place exclusively during the John Gotti trials, when this was happening in New York, like 92-ish. And so it's about these this young couple
Yeah,
who
Played
are
by-
kind of small-time criminals, played by the two that I just mentioned,
Michael Pitt
and
his
Nina
girlfriend.
Arianda.
Okay.
And they decide, well, he decides really, that this small time stuff, robbing liquor stores, whatever, is not going to work. He decides, let's go rob mafia owned social clubs. Because he
Wow.
heard, while he was sitting in the audience during the Gotti trial, he heard Sammy the Bull testifying
Sammy the Bull.
that, oh yeah, these social clubs, things happen there a lot because there's no guns. That's the rules. There's no guns in these social clubs.
Oh.
So Michael Pitt, the young kid, gets the idea. Well, I'm going to start robbing these social clubs. He already has
I
a
think
stick
I
up.
may have seen this film.
Yeah, he's already got a stick up his ass about the mob because let's just say his father was involved with some things with the mob and
I
wasn't
think I
treated
did see
fairly.
this. Is there a scene that takes place at like a plant shop?
His family owns a florist.
Oh, I have seen this film.
You've seen this
Oh,
film.
for God's sakes.
Okay, so you've seen it.
I did see this
Good.
movie.
You know,
The bullshit continues. The bullshit continues.
it does. It almost seems like it could have been one of those movies
The bullshit continues.
that at one time had a different title. It almost seems like it could have been that.
I saw it. Well, check it out. Maybe it did.
Well, according to IMDb, it was called Rob the Mob.
Yeah.
But anyway,
yeah, I saw this film.
okay, good. So
I
it's all about
did
how
like that.
they get deeper and deeper into this
Right.
situation, and I just think anybody is crazy to mess with the mob. I don't care who you are.
Yeah,
You're
you
nuts.
gotta be.
Yeah,
You gotta
and
be
then
crazy.
Ray Romano, like I said, is in it. He plays
I love Ray.
He's great. He plays a reporter who's covering the mob for like 20 years, and he ends up interviewing them, and they become almost like a sensation in the media, almost like a Robin Hood type character. Even though they're not giving the money to the poor,
Right.
they love that they're messing with the mob.
I see.
People think that's great.
Okay.
They're looked at as kind of heroes.
Yeah.
And so it's all about how it escalates and how, they get deeper and deeper into this thing. And I really enjoyed it. I was really into this film.
Yeah.
I remember saying to
No,
myself while I'm
I
watching
did
it,
see this
I'm really
film,
into
yeah.
this movie. It was a lot of fun. It was really
Yeah,
well
no.
done, well acted.
No, I know.
I recommend people check it out.
More
It's
you
a,
described
it's a
it,
little
the
gem. I
more
really enjoyed this
realized
film.
I had
Yeah.
seen it before. Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
Okay.
So no need to beat a dead horse. I just really recommend this film.
Okay.
Why don't you do your thank you for
And
your
I would
service?
like to thank you for your service.
Thank you.
For all these years.
And
that
I'll
we've
tell
been
you, I have
doing our
zero interest in seeing this film.
Well, I'll tell you something.
I'm tired of Iraq War movies.
You might change your tune.
I know.
This is a Miles Teller
Probably
film.
good.
Miles Teller.
He's very good.
Well, I'll tell you this. This is much more about every one of these films that we have seen, and specifically the one that turned me off. And I liked it, but it did turn me off a little bit to these kind of films. Was the Shia LaBeouf film, where
that
he
was
was
a
a product
powerful
of,
one.
of Agent Orange, and
PTSD.
PTSD, and he became very violent when he
Yes,
got
he did.
back home.
Yeah, that was a tough one to sit through.
That was a tough one to sit through. And but this is a little bit different. This is a little bit more low key and a little bit nicer and easier to watch. I found Miles to be very likable. Of course, we do have our Vietnam horror show, which is
Yeah.
very similar. In fact, I don't know if you're familiar with the film Catch-22.
I know of it. I've never seen
Okay,
it.
well,
And I know it
there's
was a famous book
well,
too.
you should watch it. And I read the book twice, as a matter of fact. And actually, now I heard that I'm not sure if it's Alan Arkin, but somebody now is going to be creating. No, it's somebody famous. It might even be Christian Bale. But somebody is creating a miniseries out of
Catch-22.
Catch-22. It might be. It's a big name. It's like George Clooney or somebody like that.
Okay.
And they're revamping Catch-22.
It might be George Clooney.
I think it might be. But regardless,
I
this
think I
is-
read that too. Let me double
This is a
check.
film about thank you for your service. Guys go over there, a guy gets killed, something happens to somebody else, they're being attacked, which usually is the case, and then Miles Teller is our young man who goes through a very traumatic.
Yes, George Clooney, Catch-22.
It is, okay,
Pre-production.
Cool.
TV series.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And I'll bet George is going to do it justice because it's
yeah,
a great.
and he's also
book,
going to be starring in it, apparently.
Okay, and there you go.
I don't know what network,
But
though.
the film was done by Mike Nichols. It was Mike's.
Alan Arkin
I
was
believe
in it.
It was only Mike's. I think it was his third film. I think he had done. He did The Graduate. He did He did Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, and then he went on and did Catch-22. Yeah, and Art Garfunkel was in that film, and Yossarian, the main character, played by Alan Arkin,
Yes.
who was just wonderful. But I don't even know why I should be mentioning that, but I like this film. I don't know if I recommend it so much, but I put it on and I plan to only watch 10 minutes of this movie. And I ended up watching the whole thing in one sitting, and that's not usually how I handle this kind of a
That's
genre of film. I didn't really want to sit.
Well,
but
that's a
then,
sign of a good film then, if it sucks you in that
it
much.
was very well done, and it was just it got very nice, like 6.7 reviews on IMDb, which out of 10 is pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. People liked it, most assuredly so, and it's just about coming home and dealing with the trauma of coming home, and those nightmares in the middle of the night, and the flashbacks, and we've seen this a zillion times before, but this is just a different take. I think Miles Teller really wanted to be nominated for an Oscar for this film, and I think that because of Whiplash,
a couple of years ago.
Yeah, a couple of years ago. I think he was kind of every film that he does nowadays, I think he's still hoping, and I think the director did too, because they gave him a lot of scenes where he's crying and passionate.
He's a good actor.
He's a very good actor.
But I've read interviews with him. He's a little too. I'm not trying to criticize the guy, but he's openly said, "I am trying to be the next De Niro." Like he's trying to be that landmark kind of an actor, and you can't you got to just be. You can't strive for that.
Well,
you know,
Tommy Wiseau said the same thing.
Yeah, I know.
The Room.
Well, let's
He
just say
wanted to be-
Miles Teller is a lot more talented than Tommy Wiseau.
I think Shia
obviously.
LaBeouf is far more talented than either of them, no question.
I think Shia is a great actor.
I think Shia is a far better actor and a far bigger risk taker than Miles
is.
Teller will ever be.
Yeah, and I think Shia's personal craziness gets in the way
Nope, I
of
think
people
it-
really judging his acting on merit.
But I think it contributes to the actor that he is.
Well, yeah, it
Because
informs
he
your
is
performance.
such an abandoning
Yeah.
person. He's the kind of guy that he'll just walk down the street, and if he, falls into a gutter, he'll just, because he's drunk, he'll just lay there until
Yeah.
somebody picks him up.
Yeah.
He lives life to the fullest, and
Yeah.
probably not the best thing for his career. But I respect him. I respect Shia LaBeouf.
That's cool. No, he's given
really
some great
do.
performances.
He's a nut job though in real life. He does crazy things, and he goes to rallies, and he's always more outspoken and more nuts than all the other
How
radical
about when
people.
he sat for like many days in a row straight watching all of his own films in the theater, and and they had a live stream of him watching his films.
Oh wow, that's funny.
Like that was crazy.
I kind of remember
like
that.
modern
but
art almost.
I think I tried to forget that more than remember it.
Yeah.
So. But I like this film. Thank you for your service. Is precisely that. The woman who plays his wife is. There's a very strong sense of reality that got brought to this film instead of trying to pound us with message all the time.
I know, that's annoying.
As these films do, this film just kind of let it be. It just put it out there. You, as the viewer, you were able to come more to it than have it pound you over the head.
Yeah.
So for that reason alone, I'm going to give it a thumbs up. I'm going to say that people should check this film out.
Okay. Well,
It's a
that
little more
sounds good.
unique and not unique. I hate to use that word over and over tonight. I've said it.
And the bullshit continues.
But
The
know,
one element, not to jump in, but the one element about these films that I find important is that we have to remember what these guys go through over there. It's a thankless job.
True.
They're most of the time putting their lives at risk for politicians that really, at the end of the day, most of them don't give a shit about them.
True.
And they're being thrown to the wolves most of the time. And it's important to remember what they deal with when they come home, and that our society in many ways almost discards them. And it's a real tragedy, especially how many vets end up on the streets, especially Vietnam vets. It's very sad.
The amount of vets that
It's
actually
terrible.
killed
Kill
themselves.
themselves. It's a huge
Oh
number.
my God! Well,
It's
they give
tragic.
you the statistic.
Yeah,
I'm not
it's
quite sure if
terrible.
that statistic that they give you in this film is correct.
But
But I guess it must be.
Yeah, I hope
To
they
some
wouldn't put a
extent,
false statistic up
yeah,
there.
very true.
They
but,
did the same thing with the Shia LaBeouf film. They put that
Right.
statistic at the end.
Yeah.
And the name of that film, unfortunately, is escaping me at the moment.
Yeah,
That was a
yeah,
powerful
true.
film.
That was a powerful film.
Yeah.
But this is powerful in its
That
subtlety.
one had a big twist too, which we're not going to get into. That was
Okay.
surprising.
But,
But
yeah, this is
you
more
kind of sold me on this one a little
This
bit.
is more subtle in its approach, and I was hooked. It got me, and that's
Cool.
the bottom line of any film. If it just reels me in, and I'm reeled in, and I'm sitting there watching it, and and there was no demands on me.
Yeah.
There was no manipulation.
Cool.
So much going on, so I have to recommend it.
Okay, great.
And Miles Teller is decent, but the girl who plays his wife, I liked her quite a bit.
She's very good,
yeah,
too.
She's
Okay.
very good.
Great.
I'm always expecting what's her name, Michelle Monaghan,
To show up.
She's always the wife
I
in
know.
all of these movies.
She is a lot.
She really is,
Yeah.
But I almost expected her to be in this
Yeah.
also, but no, she wasn't.
Okay.
So I like this film. Okay, let's move on to. Oh, by the way, I did forget to mention that in Thank You for Your Service, Amy Schumer is in this film, and she plays one of the wives of the returning men.
Interesting.
home, and actually, her husband was killed over there. So but she looks totally barren. There's like no makeup. She's completely bizarre.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was very interesting to see Amy do a little serious acting there. Red State.
Yeah,
Bullshit continues.
Yeah, I'm late to the party on Red State. I've wanted to see it since it came out in
Oh, Kevin
2011.
Smith.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's not a movie I've avoided. I've wanted to see it, but for whatever reason, I just didn't until
Yeah.
I watched it this morning.
Oh wow.
I was looking for something. I was trying to
Aren't
find
we
something
all?
else.
Aren't we all?
And I stumbled along a stack of movies, and I'm like, oh my God, Red State's here. I said, you know what? I'm going to watch Red State today.
Wait, it said something on the disc. You said
It did. Well, you gave me this film, and you wrote on it. You said, Red State. Quentin Tarantino loved it! Exclamation point.
Oh gosh.
It was funny. But you know what's funny about that made me laugh about that too? Is that back when Apocalypto was fresh on video,
Oh boy. One of
I
my
love that.
favorite
Me
films
too.
of all time.
Love
Mel
that
Gibson
film, yeah.
at his peak.
when I watched that film, I was amazed, blown away by it. And then
Yeah.
when it was on video, I was telling everybody about it, and I was giving people many copies of the film all the time.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
And I wrote on the actual DVD when I would make somebody a copy.
Daryl Smith loves this film.
Well, no, I wrote 4 Oscar noms, and I just gave it to people. And then my friends would make fun of me. Hey, Chris, 4 Oscar noms. It's kind of funny that I had to promote that, as if it wasn't enough my word.
Was it nominated for Best Picture?
I don't know, no, but it had 4 Oscar noms. I don't think it was up for Best Picture, no.
Wow, too
But
bad.
great film.
I
Great
love
film.
that film so much.
Apocalypto, check it out.
Oh,
Mel
my
Gibson directed
God.
it. Amazing.
This is, and there's not a lot of dialogue in this
No,
movie.
it's just action.
It's
action.
just pure
Peril.
a group of natives that become overpowered by a more powerful
Great.
group. They are brought to an area to be sacrificed
In the
to
Yucatan.
a god. And there's escape, there's horror, this movie is a
amazing.
mind blower.
It's incredible.
2 hours that will grip your soul
Yeah.
for those full 2 hours.
The most unique film you'll see in a
It
long
is
time.
just a devastating,
Powerful
piece of-
movie.
so incredible.
It's so great.
And the last half hour,
You're on the edge of your seat.
You're made out of stone if it
Yeah,
doesn't.
I know.
If it doesn't just suck you dry.
It's great. Yeah, it's a great
just
film.
An amazing piece of work. Oh
Yeah,
my
it's a
God.
fantastic film. I
We'll get
love
into Red
Apocalypto.
State
Yeah,
later.
anyway, so Red State, Kevin Smith's first dramatic film.
Yeah.
And it's a very interesting film. It's really at its core, it's about the dangers of religious fundamentalism.
Cultism.
It's about a right-wing, ultra-religious cult of people that worship almost their leader, played by the brilliant Michael Parks.
He's very good.
Who's the character actor's actor. You ask a lot of filmmakers out there who their favorite actor is, and a lot of them, like Robert Rodriguez, Quentin Tarantino, Kevin Smith, will say, Michael Parks is amazing. We love him, and thank God we can work with him. And unfortunately, he passed recently, but he's great.
He did.
Stole every scene he was in
Yeah,
Kill
this
Bill.
is kind of the Jim Jones.
Yeah, Jim Jones
Waco
kind of a guy. He's a great
kind
actor,
Of,
yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much what it's like, yeah.
Religious cult that is pulling people in.
Yeah, he's got all his family members there. Melissa Leo plays
Oh,
his
God.
daughter. She's excellent.
Well, she's always frightening.
The main kids that we see go into his compound they get kidnapped and go in. Kind of actors that you don't really know of, nobody by name.
Yeah.
What's his name shows up? John Goodman shows up as an ATF agent who's signed to, check out what's going on there because they have a whole massive supply of weapons, guns, and all this stuff.
Right.
And so they're one of these groups like the Westboro Baptist Church that goes and they'll go to funerals of gay people who have died in protest. You're evil, end times are coming, those kind of people. And so this is just about this cult of theirs. And there's this scene that was astounding for me. It was that scene where we first see Michael Parks doing a service at his compound to his followers. And the guy is giving this sermon, but he's, I gotta say, talking for at least 15 minutes. Just
in the film?
yeah, long spread of just him
okay.
doing this whole thing. Just the acting, of just commanding the scene,
right.
playing this guy to the core. Very believable. He's just an excellent actor. He was always bringing something when he's
Right.
on screen.
He was in character, no question.
Yeah, and he was great in Kevin Smith's follow-up to this Tusk, which is a really rough movie to watch.
Oh, no. Tusk was a follow-up to this.
That's what I just said.
Oh,
I said
no,
Tusk was a follow-up to this.
You kind of said this was a follow-up to Tusk.
No, I said Tusk was a follow-up to this.
Okay.
So that's what Tusk came
You
after.
can rewind that and check it out.
No, I didn't say. I didn't say that this
You'll
came
know
after
I'm right.
Tusk. No, I didn't say that. Tusk was a great film too. But yeah, I really thought Kevin Smith did a great job with this material. Very different kind of a movie.
Now, as I remember, I saw this film at least 6-7 years ago.
Yeah, it came out in
now.
2011.
I saw it in
Yeah.
2011.
Yeah.
And as I do recall, the film kind of copped out. I have this thing in my brain that the film cops out towards the end.
I guess you could maybe
Cop-out
say
meaning
it's
the-
tied up very easily.
Yeah, it just
The
kind
bow
of
kind of-
ends.
yeah.
It just doesn't really take it to the limit. It doesn't take it to the far core. There is just an abruptness. It's a short film.
It's
as I
short,
recall.
yeah.
It's like an hour and 34
He
minutes.
had a
or
grander
something.
vision for the ending that, due to budgetary constraints, he didn't
Well, that's
do.
a shame.
Yeah, because it was a $4 million budget. It wasn't a big
Oh.
budgeted film.
Yeah, because I remember that it didn't quite do it.
The last.
No, that's why the film hasn't gotten the kind of notoriety and cult status that it should
Actually,
have.
I feel like it's got a pretty big
Okay.
following. Everybody
All right.
seems to look at this movie fondly. Everybody that I've talked to about this film over the years
What are
has
the-
really said they liked it a lot.
Oh, really? I'd love
Yeah,
to
it
know
was
what
a-
the reviews are like.
Yeah, I think it's a very positively reviewed film for the most part.
Well, here, check it out. Tell
We
me
can
what
look it up,
it's
see what.
like on there.
Maybe IMDb it's a little lower, but
Okay.
I know that it was reviewed well by most critics. I thought. Let me see here, Red State. So, Red State, IMDb. Oh, it's only at a 6.2 out of 10.
Well, that's pretty good.
I guess that's
very
terrible.
good. I'm surprised.
Yeah, I kind of thought it would be a little higher. I thought it'd be in the sevens.
like in the fours.
No, yeah, that's
right.
really good for a Kevin Smith film too.
No, that's very good for any film on IMDb.
but especially
They're
Kevin Smith.
Overly critical.
A lot of
on
critics
IMDb.
hate his stuff.
All right, let's move on here as we continue our final show here.
Okay.
We're doing a futile and a stupid gesture. I saw this morning. It just hit
Netflix last weekend,
Netflix.
I think.
I believe it was within the last few days. It was just featured for me.
It's a
on
new Netflix film.
New Netflix film. It stars, what's his name? Oh, shoot. What is his name? You might want to look it up. There's so many great cast members.
I know, it's got a huge cast.
But Domhnall Gleeson
again.
is in
Who's
this
in
film.
everything.
Who's in everything nowadays and is fantastic in everything he's in. But the guy who plays the last man on Earth,
Will Forte.
Will Forte
Yeah.
is the star of this movie. He plays not Michael Donahue. He plays Michael Don. No. He plays Michael Donahue is played by Tim. Oh man, I'm bad today. He's playing. What is the guy? Very famous guy. Doug Kenny is his name. And back in the 60s, there was a great magazine out there called National Lampoon.
Yes.
Started with the Harvard Lampoon. They did a whole thing on the
this is big cast.
board of the rings. They actually wrote a small book. That led to them getting the money to do the National Lampoon magazine. That turned into the National Lampoon Radio Hour, which was with John Belushi, Gilda Radner, Bill Murray was all the star. But this film, Emma Rossum is in it from Shameless. She plays his girlfriend. I'm just trying to think who else is in this film.
Well, it's got a huge cast here. I'm looking.
I really liked this film a lot. It was about the creation, how Doug Kenny created Animal House, and how he then went on to create the second biggest comedy of its time, which was Caddyshack.
Yes.
He was just a great writer. He was just completely off the wall. He'd be working with Harry Beard, who was played by Domhnall Gleeson.
Yes.
And they're partners in this nucleus of the creators of this magazine. And then he'll just go off on his own, and he'll just he'll write an entire novel about communist teenagers from outer space.
Nice.
And he's just so crazy and so nuts, and yet he's so attractive. Everybody loves him. His mother is played by a famous woman. His father is not, but his father in real life just never gave him the time of day. It was like Donald Trump's dad. He just never got approval. He always put him down. He buys his father this beautiful $1 million home here in New Jersey somewhere. And his father doesn't want to mow the lawn because the lawn's so big. So one day he shows up with 2 goats and he puts them on the lawn to chew the grass. And then his father says, yeah, but they're going to shit all over the lawn. He goes, Dad, that's fertilizer. They throw that in for extra. It's a funny movie. I really enjoyed it. It really was great fun. And if you and there was one wonderful thing, and as soon as I saw it, they did an entire parody of a high school yearbook.
Oh, cool.
That was unbelievable. Every single name, and there's thousands of names, like under the Glee Club, the Chess Club, the AV Club, whatever, the football. Every name was a pun, like Gymnasium or Clark Bar.
Cool.
Every single name was.
That's awesome.
It was hilarious. It was so well done, and it was loaded with. It just was incredibly funny. And as a sheer token of remembrance, they did a little thing in the National Lampoon called Photo Funnies. And it always had a woman with a very naked woman in a little, like a comic strip. One, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That little comic strip thing that was done. And my wife, Lynn Smith, was actually one of those girls.
Really?
One of those naked girls. With her.
When was this?
This was back in the, gonna say the 70s.
Wow.
And my wife was one of the naked girls with large breasts who was in this magazine.
Wow.
And the Photo Funnies bit.
I can't believe it's the first time I'm hearing this.
I'm telling you now.
Do you have a copy of it?
I do not.
Did you ever?
I remember when she told me she did it a few times. I mean, because the girls in these things were very attractive, but they had giant breasts. I mean, it was just the way it was. It was just this little comedy thing that they would do. And they would do, like, they had a centerfold one year and had a black woman as the centerfold with a big giant afro. And then her bush was just as huge.
Wow.
Like, it took up her whole center area. It was like this massive thing. It was hilarious. It was really a very funny magazine, and overtly, I mean, they just would do just the strangest things, and you'll hear all about it in this
That's
film.
cool.
Yeah,
that's fun.
it really is. It's called A Futile and
Futile and Stupid Gesture.
and Stupid Gesture, and it's about
Yeah, see, I didn't know
basically
much about it. It's,
Doug Kenny and
yeah.
Michael O'Donoghue and Doug. We don't really know if he ended his life. I mean, I remember when he died. He died in like. Right after like 77 or so, he went mountain climbing, and they just found his shoes at the top of a mountain.
Oh, wow.
So he either jumped or he fell, or it looks like he jumped. But
Sucks.
he was very unhappy with himself because Dad never loved him. So
yeah.
there was that self-hatred thing going on all the
That's
time.
messed up a lot of
And
people,
it was
both
very
sides,
sad.
mother and father.
Let's move on to your final,
Yeah, I'll be quick. I'm doing a flashback
your
to
final
1966.
Flashback. There you go.
I was really in the mood to be in the past this week, so it was cool. This film you told me about, and you reviewed it once many, many months ago.
1966. I'm
Yeah.
going to say. John Frankenheimer film.
Yeah, it's very
Rock
interesting.
Hudson.
Rock Hudson.
Yeah.
This is a story about a guy who, he's older. He's works in a bank. He's married. His wife and him have kind of not much of a relationship. They're cordial, but you can't really say that they're like in love. And he gets approached one day by a stranger who gives him a piece of paper, tells him to go to this place. Eventually, he gets a phone call from a friend who he thought was dead, who tells him, I'm not dead. You got to follow that instruction. You got to go to this place tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. Just trust me. So anyway, he follows the instructions.
It's about unhappy rich men.
It is.
And there's like a club that they belong to.
So he goes to this like secret place, almost like a secret society, and he finds out that what they do is they give you a new identity. You basically leave your life. They find a creative way to kill you, where your family, you never
they
see
give you a
them
whole
again.
new look.
Well, you didn't let me get to that. Yeah, they get a whole new look. They do surgery. They change your entire appearance, a new name. You get relocated, California, a new life. He gets a new life as an artist. Rock Hudson then takes over as the actor, and he slowly starts to live this new life, meets a woman, and then he gets involved in this crazy scene of people that almost
There's
seem
a
very
wonderful
cultish.
orgy scene in this where they're grape crushing.
Yeah, they're great. They're crushing grapes
So
with their
wonderful.
feet. Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, and then eventually things get a little dark, and there are, let's just say, some consequences to this whole thing.
Of course.
And it just takes some interesting turns, and it's a very, at times, very intense film. It reminded me of just a long Twilight Zone episode.
It did.
Yeah,
And it is.
It's very
Yeah,
Twilight Zone-esque.
very much so.
And for that quality, I thought it was great. Frankenheimer is a very interesting filmmaker. I really liked
And
it.
to consider this was made in '66,
Yeah,
a very
little,
present feel to
yeah,
it.
it
Did
was-
not feel
it was
dated
great.
at all.
No, it
that
didn't at
movie.
all.
Even though
Very
it is black and white,
crisp, black and white.
it's really a really beautifully.
It's really well done.
well-made
Rock
film.
Hudson was very good. I'll be honest, I think this might have been the first performance of his that I've watched. I mean, I've always known who he was.
Oh, I've seen him.
But I don't
before.
know
mean,
if
you
I had
know,
seen him in
Pillow
anything
Talk
else.
and all that
Yeah, I
kind of
didn't see
stuff.
that.
I mean, he did a lot of romantic
Yeah.
comedies back in the day.
Now,
But
he
one thing
died
he
in the
did-
80s, right?
He did. He died in the AIDS.
AIDS, yes. I know
Correct.
he was Jim Neighbors.
One thing you did neglect to mention, though, which I find that kind of makes it cool in a way. This guy, the original man who works in this bank,
Yes,
etc.,
yes.
he is married to a woman. He has a life. He has a house.
I said that.
No, you actually didn't. You
Yes, I
didn't
did.
mention that he was married.
Yeah, I said he's married. His wife. I said they're cordial, but they're not really in love.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah,
what I said.
you did. I'm terribly
Yeah,
sorry.
and
Okay.
his daughter lives in California. They
Right.
never see her.
So he's abandoning his
whole life,
entire
yeah.
life.
He leaves it
He's
behind.
giving it up
Yeah.
completely.
Yes.
Yes, and he moves on and gets a kind of a new, upgraded
Woman.
upgraded life,
Yeah.
upgraded look of himself. He now is a
Yes.
handsome rock
Young
Hudson
guy,
type
yeah.
man. Yeah. Okay.
But I enjoyed Seconds. I thought it was a really cool
I
film
did too.
that I would definitely recommend to people. Not only because it was a cool film, but if you're a fan of the Twilight Zone, you'll really enjoy this film.
I agree.
It's a cool little gem from '66 that probably nobody's heard of. But
Well,
I'm very happy that I've
reviewed
now
it.
seen it.
Well, I reviewed it about I don't know, maybe
a few
year
months ago. Yeah, but not
Maybe
that
a year
long ago. No, it was in the past 6 months.
Oh, I don't think so.
Yes, it was. No, it wasn't a year ago. No, it was this year. It was within the past 6 months.
Well,
I
this
think.
is almost, we're almost at episode 70. So, yes, that would be like 18 No, I think it is almost a year ago that I did that, to be quite honest. Well, you check it out and
Yeah,
find
I don't
out.
think it was that long
I
ago.
do want to mention one thing. There was a show on TBS/TNT right now called The Alienist. It was a great novel back in the 90s by a guy named Caleb Carr. And it's just about this television show is so beautifully made. Oh, my God. It's all set in early 1900s, the early 20th century.
Yeah.
And it's about a serial killer who focuses on young boys. And these young boys are slaughtered and dissected, and their eyes are literally cut out of their heads.
Awful.
And it's a brutal, horrible kind of look at this Jack the Ripper kind of Sherlock Holmesian culture. And we have Dakota Fanning is in this film, and the guy Daniel Bruhl, who I do love indeed. He always plays a German commandant in a lot of these kind of period pieces from
He's
the 40s.
played a Nazi many times.
He's played a Nazi about 3 or 4 times, and he always plays a really horrible, mean Nazi. Specifically, that film with Ralph Gleason, Domhnall's dad.
Brendan Gleeson,
correct.
and Emma Thompson.
Yeah, and that film was called
Alone in Berlin.
Alone in Berlin or something.
Good film.
What a great little movie
good
that
film.
was. Yeah. But boy, you really see Domhnall Gleeson, by the way, is wonderful in Feudal and Stupid.
He's a great actor.
It's really a good little film. But The Alienist is just so beautifully made, and it's
on TNT, right?
It's on TNT, but there's a lot of sex in this. It's like it's rated R. You're really getting the real deal, and I love it. I'm really enjoying the show. It's just so well done. The only problem I have is Dakota Fanning is completely miscast. But she's kind of working her way into my brain. So, all right, folks, we've really enjoyed talking to you. It's been a whole hour, and Chris is really, he can't edit these shows anymore. It's too much for him.
Oh, stop.
So we have to condense, and we have to go
I have
down
things going on in my life.
There's so many things going on in his life that this miserable show is taking.
It's easy to criticize when I'm the one that does 25 hours of labor.
I can't even say the show's taking a back seat to its life. It's taking like the 10th seat on the bus.
Hey, you want to pay me to edit the show? Let's do it. Give me $5,500.
Somebody should pay me for sitting here.
Oh, stop it.
No, seriously, somebody should pay us.
Well, I agree with 100%, but until we're making a living doing this show, I can't devote 25 hours to editing something that's an hour long.
So there you go, folks. So
we'll be back in 2 weeks.
We all lose.
We'll be back. We're going to be doing a little bit of a shorter show next time. It does. The arguing continues. But we'll see. I'll be away on my honeymoon next week, but we'll see you in 2 weeks for episode 70. Maybe he won't be here. He might, he's thinking he's going to die tomorrow, so.
I may.
He's very, very melancholy
Very ill tonight.
Yeah. But you came out of your shell a bit for the show. I told you would.
I
were
feel
fine.
I did, yeah. As bad
You
as I
perked
do
up.
feel. Yeah.
You perked up like
I am trying.
like a boy in high school in his sweatpants when he sees a cute girl. You perked up.
All right. Yeah, okay. A little
Not the
pup
great-
tent.
little pup
obviously
tent.
kind of popped out.
But anyway, folks, we love
all
you.
right,
We'll see you
folks.
as always.
He loves you.
Filmbanter@gmail.com. Check us out on Facebook. Check out the edited show on YouTube for you people that watch the stream that don't ever check us out on YouTube. Check it out on YouTube. Shut up. Bye.
And that's it, folks.